Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. And today I want to talk to you about why it is important to strength train. And when I say strength training, I'm talking about resistance training with progressive overload. I'm not specifically talking about some competitive endeavor. So when people say, well, I'm not trying to become a power lifter, I'm not talking about competing in powerlifting, even though I've done plenty of meets, broke state records like 7 times, coached national level and uplifters. Yes, I've done that stuff, and I don't mean you have to bodybuild. I don't mean you have to compete in bodybuilding. When I talk about strength training, I am talking about just resistance training with progressive overload. And the reason it's important, and the reasons that I say that every human being on earth should do it, is that if we look at all the compiled research that we have in this area, it's no longer even debated. The leading experts in the world all agree it reduces all-cause mortality. It reduces most of the diseases that ravage us with time, with age. Now, we won't even get into the fact that it will make you look good naked, right? Let's even set that part aside. I think most of us realize getting more toned, because when most people talk about, I'm not trying to get really big, I just want to be toned, okay? What toned actually means is you want to lose muscle, or gain muscle and lose fat. Right, someone's going to quote me on that. You're so toned means you lose muscle. All right, no, what it means, I'm just going to leave these outtakes in. I'm going to run with it. When the average person says toned, I just want to try to get toned, they're probably still talking about putting on 10 or 20 pounds of muscle. They just don't realize it. They see someone say, well, that person's got a toned body. They're not really big. And I'm like, well, yeah, but to look like them, you're probably going to have to lose 25, 30 pounds of fat, gain 10, 20 pounds of muscle, right? That is usually what they mean. But in their mind, they're not realizing, oh, I've got to gain a bunch of muscle too to look like that. It's like, yeah, you don't look like that girl in the bikini or that guy over there on the beach. That guy lift weights. That guy didn't get that physique just from jogging. Okay, that is not a runner's body. But people get this idea that if they don't look like a really serious bodybuilder, that they haven't gained large amounts of muscle, and they really have. And in fact, for most people, if you do not lift weights and you only lose weight down to whatever the desired body fat you're trying to get to, you may actually look anorexic. And you probably will, because you're probably going to lose a lot of muscle without weight training and eating protein and stuff. So, but setting aside the looking good part, looking good naked, when we start looking at all the data on it, we know that lifting weights at this point is, all the experts agree, it burns body fat just as well as cardio. Like, that isn't even really debated anymore. The only debate is it better than cardio? That is what's being researched and debated still. Not of, is it equal to? The current research in the last couple of years says, yeah. All right, cardiovascular disease. Meta-analysis is now showing at this point that in terms of heart health, lifting weights is slightly better than cardio. If you only did one, and I'm not telling you to only do one, but if a person says, well, I'm just concerned with my heart health, well, lifting weights wins by a very small margin, but it still comes out on top. All right? How about diabetes? We know that lifting weights reduces diabetes by 70%. And that's assuming no other lifestyle intervention. So when people say, well, yeah, people who lift weights probably eat better. No. In the studies that look at it, that's when multivariate analysis is done, and it assumes you're eating the same diet or that you would have made the same dietary changes. The lifting weights part actually improves it that much. It reduces cancer rates 20 to 50%, depending upon which study you look at, the type of cancer. Lifting weights, if you do get cancer, doubles your chances of surviving it and surviving chemotherapy and treatment. Doubles your chances. All right, then we get into stuff like hip fractures, bone density, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. It slows all of those down. Study after study confirms that. That is universally agreed. It will keep your skeleton stronger longer so that you don't have the same bone fractures and hip fractures, and you're not like that beat up old man you see, right? Who's losing height and everything and scrunched over, and you don't turn into that. That's a big part of it, okay? So we have all of these different factors. Like, these are massive. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, osteoporosis. How about memory and cognition? Anyone look at the studies on that? Now, those are not conclusive that it may not be correlation. So I do want to be clear that it's not been proven that lifting weights will 100% improve cognition. It's just that strength is associated with better cognition and memory and staving off Alzheimer's. But it does make sense that it would happen and why it would happen, right? When we look at what it does for insulin sensitivity, all this other stuff, it makes a lot of sense as to why it would be beneficial there. So we have all of that to look at. So when we start talking about all of these things, it's like these things are massive. And for most of it, I'm not saying you got to live in the gym. Most of these studies are showing literally like people who work out twice a week, who strength train twice a week for 30 minutes. All right, that is who's getting these benefits. That is enough to get these benefits. You don't have to live in the gym. But even then, I have really serious hardcore clients. And I'm talking power lifters and stuff personally. So let me go to the other extreme. Yeah, I train 5 days a week. I have clients in their 40s who compete in power. I've got one right now. We are in meet prep right now for his second meet. All right. He can bench 315 pounds, deadlift 515 pounds. Okay. In his 40s, he works out for 45 to 50 minutes 3 times a week. That is less than 3 hours a week of lifting. Now, is his training really serious and hardcore? Yes, absolutely. Right? To be lifting those weights in his 40s and to be competing, yes. But even then, he's not living in the gym. The guy's got a busy career. So just pointing that out. So you have all of that, but then we come over to, on top of all these benefits, it makes you look better naked. It makes it easier to change your body composition, to lose body fat, to look toned, to look good, to feel good. So think about all of that also. If you're strength training and doing it correctly, if you have all these other benefits, what do you think happens? You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better. So when I say that everyone should strength train, we have all of these things. And I do mean everyone. And I've seen people who've improved their lives who have extreme medical, I don't even want to say disabilities, because I know at least one guy who's, I don't think he's disabled. He has cerebral palsy and he may be in a wheelchair, but he strength trains and it has improved his life so much. Like his level of function is probably 5 times what it would have been had he not been doing that. And again, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.